Whether it's working with students at work, at school, or with my company Turning the Tide Tutoring, there is something that every now and then I come across as a teacher and a tutor. And that is student remorse or student regret over their past experiences and decisions in high school. So a student came up to me and he said, "Ms. Hernandez, what were you like in school? Were you as bad as I was?" He was solemn and remorseful about his ninth grade year and his eighth grade year. He had made a lot of mistakes. And he said that he wished that he would have made some different decisions back then that would have put him in a better place potentially now. And he gave some examples of some students who he looked up to. And he said, why is it that this student was able to pay attention in ninth grade, but I wasn't? Why was I not able to do what he did? And I said, okay, first of all, number one, comparison. If you compare yourself to someone else, you are always going to be unhappy and you're going to be stuck with these questions of why this and why that, and you're never going to find satisfying answers. So really the only person who you can compare yourself to is the person who you are now with the person you were then. And here's the other thing. Number two is that when you are living your life, there's a time, a maturation, a gestation process that every single human being goes through, and it's different for everyone. What that means is that things will start to occur, our maturity level will develop in our own time. Just like no two children, no two babies talk at the same time, walk at the same time, get potty trained at the same time. It's not that everyone experiences everything the same way and at the exact same time. There's a gestation process that is different for everyone. And the great thing about you, in this particular case, the student, is I said, you have come to this realization when you were ready, but this realization comes at a really good time because you're still in high school. You haven't graduated yet. And a lot of people, they don't come to the realization that you did until 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And can you imagine what your life will look like if you were still on that same path as a ninth grader 5 years from now? Okay, I gotta go. I'll be back. I'm gonna continue with this video in just a moment. As soon as I get a second. And sensing the remorse in his tone of voice, I said, why do you ask? And he said, well, my eighth grade and ninth grade year, I feel like I couldn't get it together. And I look at some of my friends and how they all learned and paid attention in class. Why wasn't I able to do that? I felt really bad for him, but I told him, I said, listen, you are very fortunate. And the reason why is because, one, you have made this realization about your maturity level at a time where you're still in high school. Imagine if you had hit this realization 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and it took you that long to realize it. And for some people, it does take that long. The maturation or gestation process for some people sometimes is decades, but you're very fortunate in that you have made this realization while you're still in high school. And I also told him that the future is like a blank check and the past is like a voided check. And of course I had to ask him if he knew what a check was because you're dealing with a different generation, but he knew. So a blank check is something that you can write any amount on and you can cash it or deposit it, right? That's like your future and the present moment. Those voided checks of the past, they no longer have any value. You can't take a voided check to the bank and say, I'd like to deposit this. Even if there's $8 billion written on it, doesn't matter. It's a voided check. And that's like the past. It's a voided check. It doesn't have to have any bearing on today, not in all situations. And so this blank check that you have for now that you've come to this amazing awareness, this is your blank check. Today is your blank check. So you can write it out to be whatever you want it to be. And then I told him, this is a blessing for you because there are so many people who don't come to this realization until many, many, many decades into the future. And in some cases, they don't come to the realization until it's too late for them to do anything about it. But you've come to it, this year, and you still have so much life ahead of you. So this is a blessing. Take advantage of it.